Team banned.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Beyond the Summit presentation, bringing you guys Game 3 of this Best of 3 series between Kaipi Gaming and Team Dignitas. This is part of the WePlay.tv Group Stages number 2, or Stage 2, Group Stage C. And yeah, we're in this first series here, this first Best of 3 series. Whoever takes this will go on to the winner's bracket up against whoever takes the win versus QPad, between QPad and Empire, which is on BTS 1 right now. And then from there, you will see the loser going up against whoever loses that matchup. So that'll be all deciding up these groups in the GSL group stage style. But finally, we actually see an interesting pick come through with the Nyx Assassin. By banning out the IO, which Kaipi kind of felt necessary after that last stomping, they actually do leave themselves an opening where with the Coddle and the Batterer ban, Kaipi does pick up the Nyx, and Dignitas actually the ones to answer back with the Magnus this time around, and also a Lifestealer, which is great against Nyx. But yeah, that's the beginning of the draft. We do also have, of course, my co-caster here. I'm Blaze. This is Skim. How's it going, man?
Hey, man. Oh, wow. Kaipi, big respect to that Gyrocopter Aoi. This is the third time in a row they actually banned this, and I'm not sure if I would actually put that much emphasis on the Aoi Gyrocopter, but that's what Kaipi's approach is, and they picked up the Nyx Assassin for themselves. This is the first time Nyx Assassin is in this best of 3, right? I don't recall him being in the first game.
Yeah, Nyx was taken off the board in both occasions.
Yeah, so looking forward to that, because Nyx is one of these heroes that can actually turn the team fight around, even turn the game around just for himself, even though he's just a support. And
well, that's
yeah,
interesting.
early Ducks. Yeah.
Well, I'm fine with the early Darkseer. I see that pretty commonly. I mean, Kaipi, like you said, they like to play it, and so does Dignitas, so it's a big threat and a contested hero. But what about the Queen of Pain? Like, I feel a Shadow Demon or a Bane, or even, I guess they don't want to probably draft off the Beastmaster, but didn't you think a supportive pick would have been more popular in this kind of setting?
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm actually surprised myself. I guess they didn't want the Queen of Pain to be banned out, or they just feel comfortable with this, or they just going to bait something. Maybe a pocket strat coming out. I mean, we have seen something, even the Death Prophet we have seen. I'm not sure if you remember, but that was a sick pocket pick. And maybe they do have something along those lines. I doubt it's actually going to be a Death Prophet, but yeah.
They're going to be going up against a difficult lineup here, though. The Lifesteal and the Lone Druid, that dual core. Oh my gosh, it's going to be really, really difficult to deal with them in a physical mid to late game sense. In the early game, of course, there's definite ways to contest them rather directly, but in this circumstance here, it seems to be easier said than done as far as taking the late game away. The Wall of Replica is a great start, but with the fact that Lifesteal can just chew on through the Nyx Assassin and his puny little Spike Carapace as long as he's raged on out, I really feel like Kaipi doesn't have much answer to Lifestealer when he's raged. The Surge will help people kite away a little bit, but when you have the Magnus RP and the lockdown there, it's going to get harder and harder as time goes by. So I think that Lifestealers kind of have his run-of-the-mill, where he just gets to roam on about and chomp on away at whatever he does feel like. And when he does do that and builds for just hard damage, oh my gosh, he's just going to be a nightmare for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the fact that Kaipi picked up the Queen of Pain instead of maybe a Bane, which would have been a safe pickup, and they actually prefer to pick up an early Bane, yeah, kind of diminishes their chances in actually picking up any hero that would be able to handle that rage or that magic immunity. I mean, the Bane is still in the pool, as well as the Shadow Demon with the Demonic Purge. But overall, I'm not sure if actually Kaipi, yeah, as you mentioned, can handle that. And overall, Team Dignitas is currently really, really tanky with the Lone Druid, Magnus, and Lifestealer. And even though Queen of Pain deals a lot of burst damage, I'm not sure if she can actually burst down any of those heroes in the mid to late game. And they really have to, yeah, they're reliant on their carry as of right now, which could be still a Void. I think a Void could deal well with the Lifestealer because his bash goes through that magic immunity. And of course, the Chronosphere is a big AoE teamfight control, and that also goes to the magic immunity, so that would definitely be something. I think Kaipi will definitely pick up the Void.
Has a lot of
potential. If it's not banned out.
I mean, yeah, you can vacuum it in, you can Sonic Wave on top of it. I think it'll be good. but I don't know if he can carry it up solo. Lone Druid and Lifesteal are such big tanky heroes. Magnus as well. I mean, when you go in, you get the best Corona of your life. You had all 5 people, but let's say they're not, you're not cleaving away. I guess that's a moot point because you can vacuum and then have the Battle Fury, but I don't know. It's just like, who do you focus? Who do you focus your main right-click on? Lone Druid, with his Battle Cry up especially, tons of armor, tons of HP. Lifestealer gets that way pretty quickly as well if he gets his armlet on, and then Magnus himself has a high base armor, and he is a strength hero. So in that kind of situation, it doesn't feel like there's an easy focus point.
No, that's true, that's true. But I think focusing the lifesteal is actually key in... oh, there's the Ursa Ben. Would have also been a good pickup.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, anyway, if you focus the lifestealer, he's one of those heroes that kind of thrives off long team fights because he can leech himself up again, and with an armlet toggle, of course, he can stay in team fights very long. And if you take him out first, I think you can actually easily focus down the Lone Druid with, well, superior team fight and outnumbering him. But yeah, it's just all about the execution, and I think both teams have proven in the past games that they are actually capable of pulling off clean and very well executed team fights. And currently, Team Dignitas though is not that team fight oriented lineup. Just because they do have the mag, I'm not sure if about the Lone Druid can actually contribute in those 5-on-5 engagements that much early on. And there's actually the Bane pick. I'm really surprised that Dignitas did not ban that out. I mean, having a Lifestealer and a Lone Druid, 2 heroes that are very well vulnerable to that Bane, that's questionable.
So the Bane does get through to 4th pick, which is it's solid. One thing I do like about the Bane is he can still enfeeble the bear while like Fiend's gripping the lifesteal or something like that, so he can multi-target a little bit. But in that sense, I think he's a lot stronger against a single core. I think he's a lot better when he's like, okay, this is the guy that I'm 100% worried about. This lifesteal is gonna F stuff up and we're screwed. But if Aoi finds, or whoever picks up the Lone Druid finds some good farm, they're going to find a great opportunities with the Lone Druid to be able to dish out a lot of damage as well. And with this Phantom Lancer pickup, I might be going on a mild diatribe here, but I don't feel that they've laid the foundation for him. Phantom Lancer is a great hero. He's one of those that are very, very difficult to contest in a situation where they have like a Keeper Light to back him up. But Bane, Nyx Assassin, Phantom Lancer, all very mana-hungry heroes. Same thing with Darkseer and Queen of Bane, honestly, so we're going to have to see the Arcanes come out quick. But anyways, Aoi, if he puts a Maelstrom, a Mjolnir, or a Battle Fury, or possibly all 3, obviously not the, never mind on the Maelstrom Mjolnir, but possibly 2 of those on the bear, and possibly on the lifesteal as well, you can just deal with those illusions without much trouble at all, and the Empower itself, as long as you don't rage out, you're going to be in a great spot. I was actually hoping to see possibly like the Ogre Magi pickup that Alliance has been running, where you just get so many steroids on the bear, you empower the bear, you bloodlust the bear, and you're like, go get him, boy. But in this situation, the Undying seems rather favorable as well. How do you feel about all this?
Yeah, it's. I think Dignitas actually expected something along the lines of a Phantom Lancer. I mean, the Undying pick is really nice. And Kaipi, I think they're aligned on some sort of 4 protect 1 kind of playstyle, where the 4 players make space for Eternal Envy to split push and to farm up. But looking at Dignitas lineup, they're so tanky. I'm not sure if actually 4 heroes from Kaipi are enough to burst down any of those. Maybe even the Jakiro, but even the Jakiro scales very well in terms of HP.
Yeah, I think this tri-lane, like last tri-lane versus tri-lane was a little ambiguous, was a little weird matchup versus matchup, but this one, I think 100% favors Dignitas. In this situation, actually going for the open wounds, they actually don't think that Envy has the invis. He's going to have to scale it up and pop it off, I believe. No, he's just going to walk away, so Universe getting a little bit antsy. I didn't really think that they should go on that, because of course, open wounds isn't the end-all be-all. Was trying to put him in range of the ice path, but just didn't work out. A little bit, you know, jumping the gun on that. Either way, what I was going on about, the tri-lane versus tri-lane, look at the HP regen pulled up on these 3 heroes, Way2, Universe, and Jakiro. They have 2 on Jakiro, they have 2 on Way2, and they have 3 on Universe's Lifestealer. They are ready to go for the long battle, winning out the war of attrition, and because these heroes are mana hungry, and Pylide is the only one with double clarity, they aren't going to be really able to impact this tri-lane to the point where their Dignitas is just going to be able to win out of right clicks, out of a couple of good skill uses.
Yeah, and unless Envy actually opts for Soul Ring, he's not really that. Well, he won't be able to actually contribute much to this tri-lane because he is also very mana. Well, his skill is very mana costy, And yeah, this trial, as you mentioned, is definitely favoring Dignitas. They do have those strong slows and strong nukes, and this is really not good, not easy to play against. I've played against them myself. Well, I think most people have. Or yeah, Undying. They can actually dive the tower. They wouldn't mind. As soon as they hit level 3 with the Tombstone, they can dive, and there's practically no hero they can't kill. They do have they do have sentries on Way Too Sexy, so they don't mind if even if Envy skills at Invis.
Yeah, and Invis itself costs what, 150 mana at rank 1 Doppelwalk. So at this stage, he doesn't have mana for both his spells. It just actually does barely, but you know, it's just like by the tiniest margin. So he casts a Spirit Lance, he casts a Doppelwalk. He's literally out of mana, and they only have a total of 3 Clarities, and they're already using Mana Burn on Nyx. They used it once on the Lifestealer, who, I mean, honestly, he only has like 16 intellect, so not that much to work with there. They are getting the burns off, but in general, I just feel like the Arcane Boots are going to come out sooner for Dignitas, and in this position, where you can already see Eternal Envy only has a couple of last hits himself, the control just really feels on the side of Dignitas, and Nyx is going to be a while before he can even get his stun up.
Definitely. The thing is, with this trial lane, if they actually didn't use the open wounds at the beginning on Envy, they could have actually gotten for a kill, because Universe was completely out of mana for the past, I don't know, 20 to 30 seconds, and there were a few opportunities where they could have gotten Zizou maybe, but yeah.
Yeah, part of that is the Nyx, his first Mana Burn went out on the Lifestealer, which, although, like I said, it doesn't do all that much, it did make it so that he couldn't commit another open wounds. He already wasted 1 at the beginning, so dropping down the Mana Burn, he was without it for quite some time. We do see Bone 7 still doing his creep skipping action here. Rank 2 Ion Shell is enough to clear out the wave rather effectively. So in this position, Aoi doesn't have too much that he can do, but Bone 7 only has a couple Tangos left and has to watch that himself.
Yeah, and in the mid lane it's quite equal actually, although no, actually Arise is leading, and yeah, last hits he's actually 10 denies. Wow, 10 denies, that's huge against a sneaking.
Yeah,
not easy to pull off.
Yeah, but I mean, Queen of Pain versus Magnus, that's always going to be a matchup that favors the Queen of Pain, especially if she goes for a second point Shadow Strike. We actually see Pilotti getting picked off here. They do have the Enfeeble up, but still the right clicks, the damage is through, and with that stun locking him down, Way Too does pick up that first blood, and they have mana for exactly 1 more Lance, and then they're completely out. Zizou's dry, Eternal Envy very weak. And in this position here, they can take that kill and walk away, having lost absolutely nothing, and just refill up to full.
Yeah, but the problem is, they do have, as you mentioned, they do have to refill, and Way Too Sexy is really low. He's actually walking back to base. There's no point in using that stealth right now. And that's a problem, because they also have mana cost efficient, mana costy spells, and they don't have the, well, especially the Nyx does not have the natural intelligence to actually, well, constantly push out that harassment.
Interesting matchup on top. Bone 7's Darkseer versus Aoi 2000's Lone Druid. What we're seeing here is a Soul Ring coming on out, as well as a Ring of Regeneration, which should bode for Tranquil Boots long term. That means that Darkseer is going to have a pretty good time on the lane. He's not going to be able to completely destroy Lone Druid because he has so much lane presence, but I think they're going to be both on pretty much even ground now that those items have come out for the Darkseer.
Yeah, and in the meantime, the mid lane, it's quite even in terms of, well, Bottle Crowing. Both are opting for Bottle Crows, although Arise does have the Battle Rune control because of their natural blink. Bottom lane, no, it's just easy harassment coming out with the Mana Burn.
Yeah, I actually think, I was debating about this before, but it's actually really good for the Nyx to put the Mana Burn on Universe when there's less clarities at stake. Because if they don't have an open wounds, how can they really initiate to burn down Envy? They don't have nearly as much pressure because the open wounds is 100% required to actually start things off. They have the tomb, well, they don't actually skill up the tombstone, but they could go for the tombstone or the ice path to follow things up, but ice path itself isn't the best thing to start with. We actually see Magnus about to drop down, damage over time, lives with 2 HP. This is really big. That was very close. Arise jumped on in, and he committed a really good damage over time, a couple of right clicks. I'm not sure if he got a scream on in, but either way, Snaking was able to get on out of there and then just immediately bottle up. So he kills the creep, bottles his last, and now we'll be able to bottle crow it up and stay on the lane, which otherwise would have been a big solo kill.
Yeah, it was a nice movement by Sneaking. He used his skewer to actually pull him even further into the tower, so that he would have, well, it looked like he was trying to get him down at least, but in the end both survive, and yeah.
Both these guys dropping solo. Arise, I didn't even catch him, but must have gotten the tail end of a shockwave, head his direction, lives with 8 HP, and walks back to base. So that is just ridiculous how close that has been. So I'll have to keep an eye on that more and more. I mean, the tri-lane versus tri-lane is always going to draw the attention because there is always the opportunity to go on in. Speaking of, Ice Path comes out, but whiffs it just slightly. That's what I'm talking about. Slight delay. Piloty, for 300 movement speed, will be able to walk on out of it. And from there, Fog just throwing a little bit of mana on the ground, honestly.
Oh. Gold and XP in favor of Dignitas. It's not by big, it's just a bit. But it's actually surprising. I actually would have expected Kaipi to do better because they have been pulling twice now, I think. And yeah, that's a bit surprising, but I guess it's also because Arise just had to walk back to the base right now completely. That really hurts mid when you actually have to walk back to the base. That's almost as costly as actually dying, and Sneaking has a haste rune, is rotating.
Ooh, they're going to bring down Eternal Envy here. They drop down the Sentry Ward. They are getting a lot of burst, but they do not have it yet. They drop the Tombstone, turn around on the supports, who are just struggling to keep their ally alive, and instead Pilot is going to fall. They almost could look for Zizu with that haste rune, but they'd have to get a really good skewer off, and or commit the reverse polarity, which he also has available. Either way, right now, just going on in. They get the pick on the Nyx Assassin, but not getting anything more out of it just yet.
Yeah, I think at this point, Sneaking might have actually used the,
Going in, Zizu has that Brain Sap to heal him up, but he's still going to take a heck of a lot of damage here. Luckily, Shockwave does not connect, but they do go for the Ice Path on Eternal Envy. Skewer does not lock down. They get the reverse polarity on both of them. There's also the Dual Breath on top of that, so there is going to be one kill. Looking for Eternal Envy as well. They drop down the wall, though. Bone 7 already using his ultimate. Way too forced to TP on out of there. Snaking, slow to a crawl. He should die as well. Huge turnaround coming out. Arise and Bone 7 arriving just in the nick of time to not only save Eternal Envy, who's been pursued to no end, but also turn around for 3 kills the other direction. Wow.
I can really not stress enough how big Kaipi is on those TP supports. They really are on the mark with those, and yeah, if those TP supports had not come in, that would have maybe even been a wipe, and Eternal Envy might have gone down, but now they turn it around, and this tri-lane is now completely a failure, in fact, because they gave away a kill, or 2 kills to Arise, and a lot of XP to Eternal Envy.
Yeah, that was just
sitting on level 7.
That was just so darn good. And having the Wall of Replica even this early level is something you generally don't see. I mean, he actually avoided a point in Ion Shell as a result to get it. But he really knew what he wanted. He wanted to be able to engage as a group, and I'm not sure if he skilled it reactively right then, or if he found the right timing. Either way, he was able to make such an impact down there. We are going to see some big tower damage. First, it was up top with the Lone Druid, was enfeebled, forced back, but now on this bottom tier 1, taking a lot of hits here. We do see as well Snaking trying to bring down Piloty. Might be able to. He has plenty of mana to spare, and Piloty has nothing. The Skewer connects, and the Shockwave will too. Getting a nice little pick off there, but it is only support, and Bone 7 will try to make him pay for it here. He does have the Surge available, but doesn't want to bite off more than he can chew, knowing the allies are relatively nearby. So just getting away and biting the tail end of the Shockwave as well.
Yeah, and Sneaking dying there, that puts him back on his Blink Dagger. I mean, he was sitting at like 800 gold, and that, yeah, he lost some of it. So that hurt them a lot. And but there's one thing that's going their way, and that's AoE farming. He's been free farming the whole time. He's sitting on face boots on his main bear, almost has his armor completed on the bear, and yeah, he's looking good. So he will definitely be having a huge impact on the game later on.
Yeah, they're definitely farming up, and that's helped them out a lot. They definitely got a lot of advantage from having the tier 1 taken care of. So that's going to give them a little bit more control, force Eternal Envy to try to go for maybe a little bit more jungle action and that kind of thing. And when Eternal Envy doesn't find a safe place to farm, he kind of seems like he's a little bit lost. We do see committing the RP on there, and they get the Ice Path on everything. They burst it down before Queenie Peng can get the blink. Is there going to be a return kill, though? Piloty coming on in, has the mana burn, but Snaking should be able to survive, bottling on up. He walks away. The Lance connects onto Fog, but neither one gonna be able to net a kill here, so they turn it around, they get the kill on the Queen of Pain, boosting up Fog's experience amazingly, as well as that of the Magnus himself, of course. And in that kind of position, although they are without RP for 90 seconds, they're happy to make that trade.
Yeah, definitely. I doubt there's going to be a big team fight within the next 90 seconds anyway. And did Eternal Envy lose sight of Sneaking? Because
yeah, he lanced the Fog, yeah.
Yeah, if he had actually landed Sneaking, might have been a kill because he was still ticking from the poison.
Yeah, it would have been close, but either way, yeah, it was nighttime. He didn't have the long range vision, and unfortunately gets locked down, which brings us back to wards. There is a ward on the top rune spawn for Dire. The only ward I'm seeing for the Radiant actually just expired, so They don't have anything. They have no long-range vision, and nighttime is the most important time to have the wards.
They do have a ward at the top lane of the enemy jungle. That's just, well, it doesn't see very much, so... But in this position, how's that going to help Eternal Envy is the thing here. They need wards around the Phantom Lancer, so he can responsibly use his Invis, which he should be picking up now that he's hit level 8. No goes for Doppelwalk. What do you think about the no Doppel build? I'm really surprised by this, because this is his main escape mechanism, and he forces out sentries and dusts by it. They're
not even carrying right now. They're not even packing dust. So it kind of feels like it's almost a misplay to not pick it up here. Actually going on in, they do see the dot, but Ice Path to dissuade them from going any further. Yeah, I mean, they will get their harassment down. He benefits a lot from his different skills, but I just don't see a point in Juxtaposed mattering compared to that of Yoppel against people who don't run dust. It seems at least you're forcing out some extra gold, and of course there is a 15% movement speed boost on top of that. So in general, I understand he doesn't feel that he has the mana to support it very effectively, but nevertheless, in a do-or-die situation, I think you'd much prefer to have it.
No, I totally agree. I'm really not sure about this about the skill build either, but yeah, looks like kind of works for him. I mean, he did survive the bottom fight early on, and yeah.
Silver lining for Kaipi right now is that Bone 7 has been doing surprisingly well. He did not only do pretty well on the top lane, but his ganks down bottom were pretty successful. So he's going to have that mechanism up in just 75 gold. We do actually see Initiation down, going for a double polarity, but just finding one. Doesn't even commit it because the Carapace was active. Clean him up nicely, but Arise will be able to just slip on out of there. Either way, finding a nice kill, and the fact that Snake King held onto his polarity, S-canceled that, it was actually extremely important for their next engagement.
Yeah, definitely. Now that they're smoked up, and they do, as you mentioned, still have that polarity, and they're looking for the Phantom Lancer, and he's still in the mid lane. He's not sensing anything, and he still doesn't.
Oh, Rise, this could be bad. Oh no, they have Radiant Vision. They know he's trying to bait him into it, and make sure that his allies get out scot-free. Either way, this is a little bit cat and mouse right here.
Yeah, so Eternal Envy will probably still stay safe.
Going on top of Rise, he's going for the courier. He gets it with a double damage. He's able to bring it down quickly. Universe still gets his armlet finished out, but nevertheless, it's going to be in the grave for 3 minutes. Now we'll see if they can make anything out of it beyond that. The Skewer misses. Arise going to get RP'd. No, he cancels it thinking the Blink would come, and instead just gets lanced up. A lot of damage coming out through there. There's going to be a big Ice Path, and the Tombstone's propagating, dealing a lot of damage with those zombies. Infest to finish off Arise. No, he gets on out, but Zizou going to take a lot of right clicks. Should be the next casualty. Now looking for more. The Surge away keeps Darkseer up. Eternal Envy fighting against an army of the undead. But it looks like they will be able to walk away. The Tombstone to expire momentarily. And from there, it would have been a completed team fight. But Jakiro, fogged, stepping out of boundary. And from there, just got bursted down by the Scream. And now Way2 getting Vacuum back on in. He got Lance, he got slowed, and now he's getting path blocked. Oh, good block by EE. Dropping it down, and from there, Undying didn't really have any ground to stand on. Just got dropped really quickly. Still, they have the Blink RP, but they need to get some respawns before they can actually get some revenge.
Yeah, that was messy team fight, really messy team fight. And Arise playing on the edge there. He was at some point down to 100 HP, and he was just waiting and making full use of that double damage at the end. Still getting that kill on Undying, or no, not Undying. It was Jakiro.
Yep.
So yeah, but in the meantime, Aoi takes the tower, so that's still something going for Dignitas. Even though they lost quite a few heroes right there.
Yeah, they took huge losses as far as experience goes, but you see, even with the courier snipe, that the gold graph doesn't fluctuate all that much, and that's definitely because the tower was taken down, and that's what you can do with a lone druid. Now they're looking to do the same thing onto Roche, just burn that down really quickly. Powerful single target damage. When you consider the Empower and the Armlet, he's going to be able to do a lot there, but they have to make sure that they're not going to be interrupted. It's kind of an undisturbed attempt here. Without any liquid fire, it's going to be, they're going to take some hits, and it's pretty much going to be the Universe sitting down at critical HP, having to Armlet toggle and avoid bashes, or just have the bear tank it up.
Yeah, but they do have 2 Armlets now up, and so this is going to be fairly fast Roshan, I want to say. Yeah. But as you mentioned, 1 point in Liquid Fire would have, of course, been better in this situation. And the fact that they do still have RP, they feel rather safe, and I'm not sure, even if Kaipi knew, they could not attempt this.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's the case. A lot of armor on the bear. Of course, the armlet provides plenty, but also Basilius active on it. It really is just going to be able to tank this up nicely. So, Aegis, presumably to go out on Universe, but really, really early swing for them. They get 3 heroes splitting that experience, so those 3 just jumping up, and now up on top lane, will they be able to make something happen? Hasted Skewer, Blink, not successful. Firelady has that invisibility with Vendetta active, whereas Bane just had the smoke up until just a moment when they knew that Snaking came in this position here to dispel it. Now, trying to go for the flank. They are going up against 2 people right here, so this is technically a 4 versus 2. The question is how quickly they'll be able to get that initiation. Can they get the Fiend's Grip here? They do get the Fiend's Grip. RP fail from Snake King. He doesn't get it. He wastes, it doesn't blink, and from here, the Universe takes a lot of hits. Nevertheless, missing up that skewer as well. Snake King having some issues here, and that's a lot of opportunities missed.
Wow. This is not going to be an excuse, but we're playing on your West, so that's technically a disadvantage for him, but wow, that was a big whiff.
It's still something that professional players generally have to learn to respond to, and that...
Definitely. He should know about this, and yeah, that was a huge misplay right there. Could have gotten a 4-man RP, in fact, and maybe even gotten 2 kills or 3 out of that.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a little ambitious, but it definitely would have been better circumstances than what, obviously, just throwing it down on the ground again. So, they are going to get the deny on the tower, which I guess is not too shabby, considering they don't have their teamfight ultis up anymore. But, yeah, I guess he's just got to link his lucky stars that Universe is so darn tanky right now with that armlet, because that Fiend's Grip could have been fatal if they had actually been able to commit more damage. Yeah,
and that was their initial plan, just to bait out the Fiend's Grip and just get a good RP in. You could see that Universe was actually baiting it. I mean, as soon as he saw Rise, he was actually walking towards him, so that was, well, too bad.
Yeah, very, very difficult in that position, but, you know, it happens to the best of them, and in this case, it did. The King not able to drop the hammer, and in this case, he'll just have to wait it on out. He will get his mana back, but let's hope that it doesn't actually cost them too much. Currently, they are still very, very substantially ahead in gold, and they have swung back a bit in experience, so it's still a pretty even game in that respect. But as far as levels go, actually, Bone 7 going for a vacuum wall. Bravka dropping everything here. Arise not getting the Sonic Wave, though. That was a great opportunity for the wave, but instead just getting the Scream. Now taking a lot of hits underneath that Tombstone. They're not going to be able to really duel it out too much, but the wall is in a good placement. They really can't fully engage in this position just because of its positionally blocking it off. Either way, they're going to be able to bring down this tower. The final right click going out to the bear for Lone Druid's bounty.
That was the most awkward engagement ever, and this actually enables Dignitas to take down the tier 2 because the wall, the big teamfight ulti from Kaipi is down, and there's nothing they can do about it. Even with a level 2 Scream, there's, well, Sonic Wave. There's nothing they can actually do to fight this.
Yeah, more vacuum, get the Sonic Wave. This time around, the RP turns it around. Now to Zizu and Rise together, 2 major heroes. Completely cleaning up. The Bane does nothing in that. Just gets shredded, and from here, the tower to fall with them. Buyback comes out from the Queen of Pain. Rather costly at this stage in the game. 550 when she desperately needs that Orchid. Either way, going to be seeing some damage coming on in. And no Enfeeble just yet. The damage from the Bane, or the disable from the Bane, won't be coming on through just yet. They will actually pick off the Aegis. They will pick up the Spirit Bear as well. So forcing out a resummon from Aoi. And Universe is going to be vacuum back on in. Will pop off Rage and walk away. So took quite a few hits there. Arise isn't done yet. He goes on in, but the Entangle Pot could seal his fate right here. No, big Impale coming out from Nyx. Internal Envy doing a lot of damage here, trying to bring down Way 2. Succeeds with the help of Arise here, but does get entangled up under the Tombstone. Aoi TPing out. They just want to get out of here, and indeed they shall. Wow, that was good cleanup. I got to give it to Kaipi on that one.
Yeah, I was about to say that that Dignitas could actually maybe contest this tier 3 tower, or at least do some sort of significant damage without Kaipi actually doing something about it, but man, that triple impale, that really cost them, because Universe did not get his rage off, and then he was easily bursted down.
Might have been on cooldown at the moment. Skewer coming in on Zizu. He gets locked out. Not enough time for that Brain Sap, and he will get completely dropped. Bone 7, rank 2 surge in 5 seconds. Will it be enough? I believe it shall, but still picking up a freebie on that Bane right there.
Yeah, this was once again Kaipi a bit overcommitting without actually committing full time. I mean, there were 3 heroes from them and trying to do some damage to tier 1 tower, and there was like the engagement where Bone 7 ran in with the vacuum and wall. There was no follow-up, so no point in actually going there at all.
Yeah. It was more so undercommitted to the point that the commitment they made seemed completely null and void. It just kind of seemed silly in from an eagle eye perspective.
Exactly. And we were talking about, or you mentioned the gold advantage for Dignitas, and it's 5k. But if you think about it, it's not that big because the big items are not just yet coming out. I mean, of course, there are armlet, blink dagger, and stuff like that. But beyond that, there's not much just yet. I mean, Universe is working towards an Orchid as well, but unless he has it, it's not. Well, the gold lead is not that big of a deal just yet. Especially since Bone 7 does have that mag, which is such an important item for them to have. And in the meantime, sneaking gets picked off.
Yep, not a place for him to be. So up on the top lane there was able to be bursted down very, very quickly. They used the Vendetta to initiate on top of him, and once the blink was gone, he only has so much to work with there. So they got some good burst, and they got some good lockdown. Didn't you have to use a Fiend Script for that, surprisingly, though. So they were able to drop the king without actually committing any of the pieces on the board. And from here, they are in a good place to either push up on the top tier 2 or defend on their bottom.
Yeah, at this point it would be a huge play by Kaipi if they actually trade a tower at this point, because I would say Dignitas could easily defend this, and Kaipi cannot. That's why trading here is super efficient. And they might actually take 2 towers.
Yeah, they took tier 1 in mid already, and they're doing a lot of damage on tier 2, but here comes the defense. There is going to be the Undying first and the Lifesteal second, but they took their tier 2, and they're happy to fall back and make sure that they don't lose any more ground.
Oh, Aoi, that's a bit cocky. If that had been anyone but Arise, well, if it had been, yeah, anyone but Arise, that could have been a kill because Aoi was just TPing right in front of the tier 3 tower.
Yeah.
One Vacuum, Nightmare, or Impale could have disrupted that one.
Link up on Darkseer. What are your thoughts on that one?
I like it. They really need some sort of big initiation, but then again, where's the follow-up? I mean, even if he gets a perfect Vacuum into the wall, a 5-man Vacuum into the wall, there's just no follow-up at this point. There's no damage output from Kaipi just yet. Especially with Eternal Envy.
Oh, Universe. Oh. Yeah, gets locked down. The Fiend's Grip. There goes. Oh my gosh, he gets the RP. They get the Infest. He only toggles out. He is jumping on top. Highlight. He will drop. Holy crap, I thought it was just that. I thought it was over, but Snake King showing he still has some smug in him. Jumps on in with a big RP, and Universe drops from no life at all. Like he was 2 hits from death, and suddenly now he's topped off. That was ridiculous.
Well, that's what you get from defying the king. I mean, that was payback. Wow, that was amazing. That was really on spot, and
couldn't have been any closer. Like milliseconds difference, and whether or not that would have been deciding.
Right on the edge. And yeah, this will be a tier 2, the last tier 2 from Kaipi, and they won't defend it. In fact, Bone 7 is going to do some good damage to the mid tower. Oh, and forcing out 2 TPs.
Yep. Yet another tower. That is so they're just chomping away at that. They've gained so much map control that the next Roche should be easy pickings. 2 minutes away, but look at what they have to teleport to if they want to contest it. Nothing at all. The outer tiers are gone. So this next Roche fight will be 100% on Dignitas' terms, and they will have RP up just in time. So they have the macro power, they have the reverse polarity, they have the fact that Kaipi have to be walking to it prior to it spawning in order to actually directly contest it. So I think this is 100% Dignitas' Roche, and there's not really anything that Kaipi can really respond with.
Yeah, they also have a very deep ward into the enemy jungle. This is very much needed if you want to attempt Roche, not just the one at the rune, but also into the enemy jungle to spot out potential smokes coming in or some sort of, well, items that they could have. Such as the Diffusal Blade now from Envy, who's even immediately upgraded it to Diffusal Blade level 2, so he wants an early damage on his illusions. And he needs it, he really needs it, because currently he cannot contribute as much to his team. And yeah. And there's a Vladimir's on Aoi, so their push potential is super strong, and his Basher's not far away as well, so...
Yeah, he's had the Vlad for a little bit. Helps out Lifesteal a ton. Like, Thanks can just steal away. He has the Feast, he has the Open Wounds Lifesteal, and then, of course, the Vladimir's on top of that. Screw it, go Dominator. Go for, like, Quadra Lifesteal, I don't even know, but... no, in this point, like, Universe, as long as he can stay on his target, he doesn't really need to worry too much about how sustainable he is. A single disable can, as we saw last time around, can keep him going, and he can just keep his life up that way. So right now he's going for damage, he's going for utility with this Orchid. Great for locking down both the Darkseer and the Queen of Pain. Bane as well, going to be a good option. Either way, finding himself in a rough spot. Are they going to go in on this? They actually get disables on the lone druid, but looking for an RP instead. Magnus caught on the trees, 4 steps forward, but Universe doing work. finding his right clicks there one way or another. Well, use that Orchid on the Queen of Pain to lock her in place, so he got that solo kill, but Bone 7 buying enough time with that vacuum to blink and surge away. So he will get out. Oh, no, he won't. Snaking, jumping in, dropping the RP, and they're going to be able to get him so they can guarantee the Roshan. Just walk away right here. Actually, they could go for tier 3s and then go for Roach. Like, they could easily accomplish that, but they have to watch out for Envy pushing up on top with the drum that feels a lot of right-click damage coming out here.
I think that's why they're forcing the issue at this point. They want to force the TP back, and if they do force the TP, they can just peacefully take Roshan without any contestation whatsoever. Although they do have the wall up, so
yeah. Could be a difficult fight for them, but Dignitas feels confident in this position here. Doesn't get the snipe with that. Now that we see the stun coming out through, hitting on everybody, the vacuum comes on through with the wall. Replica could be atrocious for them. They stun out all of those replicants, but Universe getting caught out in that Fiend's Grip. Arise doing work on the front lines. No Sonic Wave committed just yet, though. Taking a lot of hits here, trying to burst down Snaking. Blinking on away, though. I'm not sure if she'll drop the payload. Gets it on Fog, but Fogged alone. Bear just chewing away at the racks while the fight still breaks down. It's going to be Zizou taking too much damage. He will be the only one to fall here. Here comes Eternal Envy dropping off the lands, but just on way 2. And yeah, that is going to be a 1 casualty Rax fight. But oh, no, whoa, top lane. Eternal Envy finished it off first. I wasn't sure if it was going to be enough, but yeah, the creep wave is pushing in. Once the tier 3 was gone, there was nothing to stop it, no response. And so they actually trade 100%. Now we do see the cleanup going on through. Darkseer does get picked off, but now Snaking out of position and out of life points. So the Geometry site on the ground, they're going to be able to pick that up, and so it was actually a 3-for-1 outside the base, and just that 1 point swing with the Bane inside the base. But of course, trading Rax for Rax puts Kaipi back on the map.
Exactly. This was a horrible trade for Dignitas, and if they didn't buy back just now, I think Eternal Envy would have gone into the Roche pit just to force out those buybacks. I think Dignitas will still get a free Roshan at this for this, but still horrible trade for them because they lost so much map control just because of this Rax, and I'm not sure if that was at all worth it, especially since the farm was just solely on Eternal Envy now. He got 3 buildings just for himself, and yeah, his farm is looking really good. He's sitting on top of the net worth charge, so he's sitting on 4k gold again, and this will most likely be his reaver.
And you can just keep on split pushing away. The situation that occurred on top lane, which I kind of ignored a little bit, but once the tier 3 was down, there was nothing to stop the creeps and the remainder of his illusions to push on in. So in that position, I don't think he took down Rax personally, but the amount of momentum and the fact that there was no response from Dignitas, so distracted by what was going on in the enemy's base, that they lost just as much in their own. And that is just not something they can afford right here. I mean, like I said, I 100% believe in a lone druid and a lifestealer contesting late game up against a Phantom Lancer, but they're not really building towards anti-illusion. They're building towards anti-single target. And we actually do see Universe getting picked off here. Not even committing the Fiend's Grip. Will he be able to armlet toggle out? He does actually pop the Rage, but off the armlet, doing a lot of damage here. They get the Macro Pyre, they get the damage in, and Universe turning around with an Orchid on a Rise. They get the Entangle proc, they get the Bash proc, they lock him down as well, and another big turnaround for the Lifestealer as he TPs on away.
Admiral Bulldog approves of that route, I gotta say. First hit Entangle. Oh man. But
so
yeah,
strong.
Universe living on the edge. Just it almost felt like a bait, but he didn't see that really coming. I doubt that.
This has got to be an intense game for that guy because like every single fight, it's on the edge of a knife for him. This is pretty ridiculous, honestly.
Well, this is huge for them because 2 very, very important heroes for
what?
Oh, on the top lane.
Out of all the illusions, you click the melee creep. Out of all the different things, the Orchid's the melee creep. It's like, oh, which one could it be? Which one could it be? I think it's the green guy with the little pointy sword. Nevertheless, they clean up here, counteracting the split push, but not getting any opportunities on Eternal Envy, who was pushing rather aggressively.
Yeah, but he's doing a really good job at releasing pressure from the rest of his team just by split pushing, and currently Dignitas cannot take. There's no hero on Dignitas' side that could actually take on Envy just by himself, so they have to commit at least 2 heroes to defend this, and this is really troublesome for them because Eternal Envy, there's nothing that would actually stop him. I would actually love to see just him buying Boots of Travel so that he can even split push more efficiently.
Yeah. Blink on Nyx Assassin, even though he's only level 12, he's trying to make some magic happen. Going in behind towers, like, it doesn't, like, normal Nyx, this would be scary, this would be dangerous, this would be like a Night Stalker ganking up and finding a kill. No, this is a level 12 Nyx in a 30-minute game. He's just kind of rubbing on about, just, you know, bugging away. And he looks like he's just an insect ready to be squished.
If you look at it, he's actually still doing better than the Dignitas supports. They're sitting at 12 and 10, and yeah, but still, looks like Eternal Envy will take down the tier 2 mid, and this is just free gold for him lying around, just waiting for him to pick it up.
Exactly.
He even gets the last hit, so...
That's probably how he looks at it, too. He's got, like, dollar signs in his eyes. He's just ready to go all cartoon-like. But, yeah, we're going to go in and see this final attempt to push up on the Tier 3. They're going to take high ground right here. The Bane going to look to get some disables off on the Bear, looking at snaking. This is all about him, but Bone 7 takes it first, goes in for a big wall of replica. Sonic Wave comes out. The RP hits on 2, but the carriers are still dealing damage. Universe gets some big right clicks off. Zizu should fall here, doesn't get his Fiend's Grip, but the Bash Proc coming on through. Eternal Envy, the last to stand. The buyback's coming out. Bone 7 back on it. Zizu as well with the Entangle, the Bashes. Eternal Envy might drop here with the open wounds. He certainly shall. And from there, the buybacks mean very, very little. Bone 7 and Zizu cannot do anything on this position here. They take the mid racks, the top racks. Can they take the mid? The buyback from Queen of Pain. She needs to do something here, but it's so darn difficult. Aoi has a fully refreshed Bear in just a moment, and yeah, they can actually go for the throat, go for the kill here, and they smell blood in the water.
Yeah, wow, beautiful team fight by Dignitas. They completely ignored Envy. They just went straight for the support, straight for the Queen of Pain. Universe doing a beautiful job at killing her just by himself, and also very good at P. I mean, after the impale, there was just nothing else coming out from the supports.
And I gotta say, the Bashes and Tangles were certainly there. They get the vacuum, they get the impale, they do some damage with a Rise. Will it be enough to bring down Fog at the very least? Damage comes out to burn down Bone 7 first, but at least Pielighty does get a revenge kill onto Fog before falling himself, but it's just too little too late. The final Rax has fallen, Mega Creeps are in the base, and at this point, it's about time they call GG.
I'm not sure. I think Eternal Envy definitely believes in his, oh, there's a GG roleplay called, so... Well, I guess they could have actually still attempted something, but now that Queen of Pain went down, there's literally nothing they could do. So.
No, I mean, they don't have a gyrocopter. They don't have any real anti-AoE other than the Queen of Pain. I mean, the Darkseer can do a lot, and Nyx Assassin can do a little, but it really doesn't add up to enough where, at this stage, with this many racks down, unless they could go for a full team wipe and just right-click down the Ancient, they're not going to find the farm. It's going to generally just strangulate them out, and via asphyxiation at the very least. We're just going to see Dignitas taking a win. They know that. Plenty of people have tried, but at this stage, it's just not something they can fight on now. The gold advantage now moving in towards 14k and 12k as far as experience. They take it away with that last engagement, that last fight. They do fight it out, give it the jolly good old try, but Universe so darn strong. Look at these right clicks. Bam, bam, bam. Orchid, Bash Brock, you're already dead. Watch him walk away. He will fall steps away from his base, but Bone 7 should be dropping in just a moment. If they can close the distance, he does have that blink coming up, but there's that last right click to finish the job. Either way, it's just the power of these right-clickers. With the Empower buff on top of them, they were doing so much work. Big physical damage, and so many great procs of Bash and Entangle in that.
Yeah, and the fact, as I mentioned, Kaipi's 4 heroes, also Kaipi's team except for the Phantom Lancer, they were trying to get some kills and ganks going, but their damage output, or their burst damage output, is not enough to scratch Dignitas' lineup, because Aoi and Lifestealer were just natural tanky heroes. Well, Lone Druid and Lifestealer. So yeah, overall, I gotta say, I think it was both the draft and as well as the execution, because Dignitas' lineup's so tanky, naturally resistant to that burst damage from the Radiant side, so I think that made it work.
Yep. And then, yeah, at the very end of it, Eternal Envy without buyback. He was only level 16 up against a level 20 Druid and a level 18 Lifesteal in the first place, but he bought out for that Manta style, and from there, he wasn't prepared for what the pressure they brought out. So they still had an Aegis on the Lifestealer. I'm not sure if that means that a second Phantom Lancer would have even not made an impact, but either way, they had plenty of people sitting in their base just right-clicking on down, and it's just too much for them. They were really cracked under the pressure, and unfortunately couldn't take it to the late game where 4.2 Agi really kicked in. So we do see Phantom Lancer only sitting at 3-1 and 5, a GPM of 447, level 16. He was very solid. He was on top of the net worth for a while, but he just couldn't do it alone. And unfortunately, other than Bone 7 and some great impales and waves on top of that, it really felt like he was by himself. Zizu couldn't stand to the fight. He was right-clicked down in like 4 shots, and everybody else, all his support structures just crumbled, because as you said, they didn't even worry about Eternal Envy. They focused everyone else, and then they sicked it on the cat himself. So either way, that's going to be it for this series here. Dignitas taking it away, so it's a 2-1 victory in their favor. So in that best-of-3 series, they're moving on into the winners bracket, which gives them a really good shot at, of course, moving on to the playoffs. The way it works in the WePlay.tv brackets is that now that they're in the winners bracket, they fight whoever won between Q Pandas and Empire, and then whoever wins that match automatically qualifies for the playoffs, which is Phase 3. And whoever loses goes and faces the winners of the losers bracket in a second, third decider. So whoever gets second place in the groups, that all works itself out. Either way, Dignitas going to the upper bracket, and Kaipi Gaming going to the losers bracket. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really, really fun games to cast. Love the Tiny. Love this one as well. Really just Dignitas showing a little bit of their strength in their own style and their own format. So a really good thing to see. Do you have any thoughts on the match, Skim?
No, I think you summed it up pretty well.
Alrighty then, well that's going to be it for this match here. I'm Blaze, this is Skim. You can check us out, I'm at twitter.com/blazecasting. He's at either Twitch or twitter.com/skimgaming. So you can check us out there if you enjoy the commentary. Otherwise, we're going on into the on BTS 1. They're going to have the winners bracket. We're going to have the losers bracket. So we'll be seeing Kaipi Gaming go up against whoever got brought down between Empire and Q Pandas. I didn't actually check that out, but we'll have to see in just a little bit. So thank you guys for tuning on in, and we'll see you guys on the next game.